Because it's FIRP, F.I.R.P. It's the best podcast because it stars you and me. Because it's FIRP, recorded on Wednesdays. It's a free podcast, which means you don't have to pay. Because it's FIRP. What's up, dudes and women, and welcome back to FIRP. FIRP, of course, stands for
FIRP, 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 FIRP.
Yeah, that works.
And that about sums it up.
Yep. Before we start, I actually have something I want to say. I took the AP Calc exam yesterday, and that's about as much as I can legally say right now. So there we go. Let's move on.
Nice.
All right. What you got for us, Peyton? You got anything?
No.
Well, this isn't good.
This is bad. I got my haircut today, so barbershops are open. So that's great.
Nice.
Yeah. They've definitely loosened up some laws here, so things are getting better. They don't suck as much.
That's very true.
They're talking about getting rid of the mandatory masks, like wearing them outside. Like if we went to a park, you wouldn't have to wear the masks. But if you're like on transportation or in a building, you have to wear the mask. They're talking about doing that on the 25th. So hopefully that's true. For all of you Americans, where your country's so genius and not implementing mandatory masks, over here in a country where we have brains, we implemented mandatory masks. Granted, they suck, but they work.
And that's our weekly rant from Peyton about the U.S.
That's my weekly rant about politics.
There we go. Get it over with at the beginning of the podcast. That works.
Yeah, then the weak ones can leave. They're like, oh crap, politics.
Yep. The weak ones. Well, I'm tired.
Yeah.
How about you?
I am tired too. Monday, I got up at like 7:20 because I had to do something really early in the morning. So I got up early. And then Tuesday, I slept in so much. Like, I didn't get up to like 11:40. It was, I don't know, I was just dead. I think I was just so exhausted from working all day Monday from like 8 to 2. So I just slept in really hard on Tuesday. And then this morning, I went to bed last night at like 2 in the morning. So I woke up, I had to get up at 9 to get my hair cut. So I'm exhausted from getting up that early. I was so out of it on Tuesday that I missed drama class. I completely forgot about it.
Yikes. Wow.
I
Yeah.
was like, I woke up and I'm like, don't forget, you have drama class today. Then later on in the day, I was like, oh crap, I had drama class today. Like 5 o'clock when I realized.
Yeah, big yikes. Yeah. I'm seriously just really tired at this point.
Oh man, I'm exhausted. I mean, we had the day off today, so that was nice.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. There's not really much to say about that.
No, we get it off next week too.
We do get off Wednesday next week. Technically, it's supposed to be so that we can make up missed work.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah.
I don't have any missed work. Although I do have some homework I need to. Don't remind me. I'll do it tonight. Okay. I'm really good at doing homework. Like, I don't want to like sound like, oh, I'm so academically smart, because I'm not. I'm not an academic guy. I'm not like, oh, I gotta write this essay. I'm gonna do it 2 weeks before it's due and get it out of the way. I'll say that, and I'll do it the night before, and somehow I still get a good grade on it. I'm like, what the actual heck? This is a bad message. I'm not trying, and I'm passing beautifully. Like, this is not a good message.
I mean, yeah, this is called procrastination. Stay in school, kids.
Stand stool, kids.
Stand stool, kids.
Who stands stool?
I told you I'm tired. Shut up, okay?
Stand stool, kids.
Do we want to tell our 0 viewers about the whoopsie doopsie we did?
That reminded me of a comedy sketch that you need to watch that we can talk about later. But the what whoopsie doopsie, the music thing.
The big one that we were talking about before this. Well, it's not
Oh
a
yeah.
big whoopsie
So
doopsie.
basically, our album is the double album, as everyone should know. The nobody
As
who listens to the
all
podcast,
zero of you should know, yeah.
all of our viewers would know. Album's double album. We had this song that we wrote a year ago, over a year ago, and we had finished it recently, and we're like, all right, we should put it out as a single. And so we had already released a single called Whispers, which you should go stream now. It's pretty great.
Yeet. Yeet.
And so um, I uploaded the song. Everything was set. I actually typed in the lyrics last night, so I went to Apple Music. You could look at the lyrics, and so had all of that done. And then today, I was going through disc one, is what we call the first part of the album. And I realized like the song we had released as a single isn't on disc one, on disc two. And I had in my mind, I don't think I might not have said it out loud, but I thought in my mind I had said it out loud. So I was like, we're gonna release disc one singles, release disc one, and then do disc two singles, and then release disc two. So today I freaked out because like I was like, oh no, this song isn't on disc one. What am I gonna do? And I was like, okay, get rid of like the uploading on the streaming platforms because it hadn't uploaded yet. So I got rid of it on there. Then I deleted the post about it, and I was like, oh, that was a close one. Apparently, we had talked about doing stuff from
Yeah,
disc two
so
before disc one was released. And I was
I
like, oh crap.
I had it in my mind, and I was fully okay with this. Like I knew it was on disc 2. I was fine with that. And because I remember us talking about releasing some singles from disc 2 from disc 1 so that anybody who doesn't know that it's a 2-disc album can go, "Wait a minute. This song wasn't on the album. What's going to happen?" And then bam, they get hit with disc 2. Uh
Exactly.
but apparently that wasn't the case. I don't know. So now we have a whoopsie doopsie that we need to correct.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think we really don't have time to release a lot of singles before these discs come out.
No, and it's
Let's be honest.
the albums are only 10 songs long, so you don't want to release too many singles to give away most of the album. Like
I think
Half Alive had a 12-song album. They released like 6 singles, and I'm like, that's a little excessive.
a little bit,
It's
yeah.
half the album.
I
Like, we
think
had 13 songs, and we released 2 singles.
yep.
Like, that's not a lot at all. And there was plenty of surprises on the album, so with the 10 songs, I was thinking like, 2 singles at like the
Yeah. Well, we will be working on getting the second single out before disc 1, and then yeah. Then we'll figure it out from there.
journey. This album has not taken nearly as long as the first one.
No, but it feels
I think it's been more fun to write as well. Less of a
Definitely.
burden and more of like, let's just write.
I think okay. See, even though the last album took so much longer, I think this one feels like it's taken longer.
It's taking forever, but
Just because we've had a lot of the music done for a while now. But we're still putting some finishing touches on, and so it's like, okay, can we be done with this and then finally move on to the next thing? But with our last album, even though we technically worked on it for 3 years, we really only did a lot of work on it like in one semester, basically.
Yeah.
That was kind of most of the brunt work. Everything else was just us trying to figure out what the heck we're going to do as a band. And then we wrote some songs and we went, this is pretty good. We tried recording them once, didn't work out. Tried recording them a second time, didn't work out. And then we were finally
recorded
okay.
like there were a couple songs on there that we only did once, but like majority we did so many times, like Shoulda Told Her and stuff like that. We tried so many times. So finally got it. And I think with what we had at the time, like DAW wise and microphone wise, it isn't half bad for the money and stuff.
Yeah.
The quality of the album itself, and the writing is good. Like, honestly, I think the writing is pretty solid. the mixing and stuff. Had no idea what we were doing.
No, of course
So
not.
now we're doing a lot better. Whispers contribute to that, so go listen to Whispers because it's pretty good.
Just gonna plug it every
Yes.
2 minutes.
Every time I'm gonna set a timer. Every 2 minutes, I'm gonna go Whispers. I'm just gonna say it for no reason.
um, yeah. So also, do we have any news updates that we can reveal about the demo album that we're
Oh yeah, dude, I need to upload that.
because
Basically,
maybe that could be like our second single, or at least like a placator
an
for the
entire
masses.
25 song demo album.
Yeah.
We have this album that I've been working on. I actually had the idea for it while we were recording an episode of FIRP. I said I should put together a demo album, and then right after that, I put it together. I just found a ton of demos on my own hard drive when we were starting out
Hmm.
and stuff. And my goodness, some of them are so bad. It's so good.
Some of them you immediately like know where we got the inspiration for the final version from, and then some of them you're like,
How did
wait,
this
what the heck
become
is
this?
this? How did this become this? Or how the heck does that exist? Like
I mean,
where's
like
that coming
even
from?
90% of the demo album are songs that were never touched again.
Yeah.
We redid The Last and Sunshine and Should Have Told Her and Make Me Free and things like that. We all redid. We did more. Even Alien had a demo version that's on that demo album.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll try to get that out. It's there's some songs on there that I'm like, I want to redo these. Then there's some songs that I'm like, never doing that again.
Never. There's a couple on there that you could tell are really inspired by 21 Pilots. Those were the
Dude,
early days
like
of
droplets. Yeah, droplets when I
Droplets.
was when I first got my studio upgrade with like my keyboard and my beat pad and my microphones and stuff. So I had I couldn't get Studio One because my computer software was too old. I spent forever trying to figure out how to update it. But the keyboard came with a really weird I had never heard of called Bitwig. It was like German. So I used that and had the weirdest samples, and so I made droplets. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's a little strange, but I think people will enjoy it. They'll probably be like, "Oh, dude, that's so whack," and all that
Mm,
jazz. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, I a lot of the songs that I put on there are when I was going through my '80s phase. I made a ton of '80s songs for like a month because that was what I could do. Like I had major writer's block. I could make '80s songs like no one's business because they're all simple chords. They're all like E, A minor, G, and then just add like the '80s drums and the weird out of tune synths, and boom, you got
Yep.
an '80s song.
I mean, you're not entirely wrong.
They're fun to make though. Like when I'm bored, I'll be like, I'll just make an '80s song. Those are fun. They're so upbeat and they're super repetitive and they got a cool bass line. They're really fun to make.
Yep. Very, very true. I
Accurate. I can verify.
I'm so brain dead at this point. I can't think of any like
Yeah.
rebuttals or jokes or
I have
responses of any
like
kind.
I have like 3 weeks of school left and I'm counting down the days.
Yeah, I am a little bit too.
I'm not looking forward to being like, oh no, school's over because I mean you're graduating, I'm moving, and so it's like this is it for where we go to school. So but I'm also like summer.
Yeah, I'm also like, get me out of here.
Let me
I don't
go. The
want
people are like,
this.
you're doing school at home. It's easier. No, it's not. We have the chance to sleep in, but that chance was taken away from us.
Yep.
Oh, you're doing school at home. You can sleep in. No, you lie. You
No.
lie.
Also, doing schoolwork online is just a whole lot more stressful because,
Why do you think I forgot about class? Because I'm at home.
yeah. I mean, in some cases, it's nice to be able to sit back, get on my PC, and just like work on stuff for a little bit, and then go up, get a snack, that sort of thing. But on the other hand, sometimes it's like, oh, I forgot all 32 of my assignments from yesterday. Oh dear. And now I
I
have
did
to
a
do a bunch of
project.
extra work.
a project recently that was all last minute. The outline was last minute, the rough draft was last minute, and the actual presentation was last minute. And I got like a 97. I'm like, what the heck?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and it was my worst presentation I've ever done. I do my other presentations when I'm sleep deprived because of school, because I do them at school, and so I'm completely out of it. And those are the best presentations I've ever done. This one was so boring. But I
uh,
think that's why it was great, was because it wasn't like any of my other presentations.
yeah, there you go.
Magic of Peyton's presentations. That should be another segment.
I don't know. I'm so dead. Uh, I
Oh,
can't.
is there any news on Chrysalid music stuff?
No.
Oh, that. No.
I'm like I'm like working full time, basically trying to finish school, work on the album, and work on YouTube at the same time, and it's so annoying.
Big Flaw on YouTube. Go check him out.
Yeah.
You don't need to.
I I've and I've even cut down on some of the work I'm doing on YouTube because I'm like, oh, I should be posting a video this week, but I have absolutely nothing, and I don't feel like putting something together. So yeah, I'm just not gonna post anything this week, and it's been like that for probably the past 2 weeks now.
You know what we should do?
What? What should we
You know
do?
how I never play video games?
Okay, I
What?
like this idea. I
What
like this
if
already.
what if we did a series on your channel where I played games with you, but I have no idea what I'm doing?
I like that. I like it.
It's like when I was at your house weeks ago and we were playing oh, what was it? Was it CS:GO?
I
And
think it was yes, yeah.
I was like, Jerry, you want to see something? You want to see something, Jerry? We were playing CS:GO, and it was just me versus my brother. And I would like kick Jer off to play, and I have no idea what I'm doing, and I have no strategy. I just run out there and try to kill them. And so I was waiting for the match to start. I'm like, Jerry, you want to see something? You want to see something? He's like, show me something. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna show you something. I don't even take one step, and I get sniped immediately.
It's so great. It's so
I
great.
would just run out and unload on him, like,
Uh,
ah!
yep.
Ah.
And
Playing video games. I'm just so bad at them.
yeah, and now I've got an extra problem with my channel because my computer's running out of space, and so I have nowhere to
Yes.
put everything. Uh, so
You should get a hard drive.
I'm going to get an external hard drive. I need one anyway because I need to take some of the files back to the States because I don't want to just leave all of our work back here.
All of it is gone.
So, you know,
Yeah. We had do you remember we had talked about doing like breakdowns of our music? Like we'd go into the DAWs and show the files and all the tracks and be like, here's the
yeah,
inspiration behind this. And
yeah,
what's funny about doing that is since we work separately so much, like we would email back and forth like, "Oh, I have the instrumental." You couldn't
yep,
open up a file and have every single track except for maybe like the one I did, part 1.
mm-hmm.
If I think part 1 might be the only song where every track is in one DAW.
Yeah, it's possible. It's very
Maybe
possible.
like who is it? Like things you like we do it so often where you like send me the instrumental, I do the drums, I send you the instrumental and the drums back. You mix them together, you put the vocals in. So it's so opposite. Like there's not one with every single track. It'd just be so
Yeah,
lame. We're like, oh, here's Sunshine, and it's just like two tracks. You got the instrumental and you got the vocals, and you're like, well, this is dumb.
yep. And there's also there's quite a few files that I would just probably open and then go, yeah, um, here's the instrumental, here's the vocals, like
Yeah,
at
that's
that point.
basically it. And Shadow Trees has like 4,000 different instrumentals.
Yep. And I don't
It's,
know if no, I still have the project with the instrumental,
yeah, it's
but
actually a really interesting one we could go over. That one was fun.
that one was
A
really
lot
fun.
of
I
stuff
don't
in
even
there. Yeah.
remember half of the stuff that happened.
No, I
like
don't
that one.
either. Like, I bet if you dig into it, I'd be like, why is that sound there? And then you play it together and you're like, that's what that sound is.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you do when you break down music. You never really hear it the
Exactly.
same way again.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Do you see Andrew Huang's video about he was doing like new things about his music and he was talking about like his that one he did recently. I forgot what it was called. What is it called?
Um I
It's
think
like
here, let me look
five
this up.
things to do differently or something like that. And he did this
Or
part
something, yeah.
where there's this snare in the song. It's actually just his voice going like ah. He's like, since I pointed that out, you may not hear it the same way again. Oh, this song has 69 vocal tracks. That's the name of the
Oh yeah.
video.
Yeah, okay.
He talked about like that snare, and he was like, ah. He pointed it out, and he's like, yeah, that's not actually a snare. That's my voice. And then he was like, crap. I may not ever hear the song the way I want you to hear it. And I'm like, that's actually really interesting.
Yep. Yep.
It's like Strawberry Fields Forever.
Mhm.
There's a part not the first chorus like the intro, but the second chorus. Second time they play the chorus, does "Let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to." Well,
Yeah.
actually, it's like four different takes put together, and since it's tape, they did them in like different tempos and different keys. Since it's tape, you can't digitally alter those, so they had to manually do it, like analog.
Yep.
So you can hear it go, "Let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to," and you can like so close that if you didn't point it out, you wouldn't notice.
Yeah,
Since it was pointed out to me, it's like so obvious.
it's like it's like the posts that are like you can't unsee this, but it's you can't unhear this. It's the same
It's like
thing.
the Toad
It's the same
thing where
thing.
Toad takes off his helmet and he's got
Oh,
the eyes.
oh, yeah, that's disgusting. I don't like that.
It's so
Uh,
gross.
eventually, this just popped into my head for some reason. Eventually, we need to talk about how we're gonna do this podcast in the States. It's gonna
We'll
be
figure it out. Once we
yeah.
actually know like when we're moving and stuff.
We may have to change the theme song from recorded on Wednesdays to recorded on a different day.
Record it on whenever we can.
Right, recorded on whenever we can actually.
Basically what it is now. Like last week we recorded it on a Friday.
Yep. But
We're like,
nobody
oh,
has to
can't do
know.
Wednesday. Oh,
Nobody has
can't
to
do
know.
Thursday. Let's do Friday. It's
Nobody
usually
has
done
to
on
know,
Thursdays now.
Peyton. Nobody
This is like
has to
the first
know.
time we've done it on a Wednesday in forever. Usually on a Thursday.
Uh-huh. But
I'm
yeah.
always like, I got stuff
Well,
to do, and I'm
okay,
tired.
so the reason that we originally wanted to record it on Wednesdays is we record it um on Wednesdays because we have a shorter school day then. So we
Mhm.
have the extra time. And then I can let that sit, do the rest of my schoolwork, and then on Thursday I can throw it all into the editing software and produce it.
Yeah.
Um but now that we have extra time, it just doesn't really matter whether I do it on a different day or on the same day because I have all the time I need on Wednesday and all the time I need on Thursday. So,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's so we started just recording it on Thursday, me throwing it in the editing software and then posting it on YouTube in the same day, and it worked. So,
He started this podcast, like the idea of it. I mean, we had been talking about we should have a podcast as a joke because we say really stupid stuff all the time.
yep.
And when we finally were like, this is what we should call it. This is the theme song. We were actually rehearsing for our show, which was like 3 months ago,
Mhm.
February 1st, and we are like, we should call it FIRP. Oh, it's so funny. And then we wrote the theme song. We were practicing for the show. We're like, this is hilarious. You went home, you recorded the theme song, and then we actually did it. We did the first episode like 400 times because of problems and stuff.
Yep. There's actually there's actually a couple things that we talked about on some of the takes of the first episode that we never talked about. Um, again, so there's specifically one thing that I can think of that has actually never been heard on this podcast before. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, We might want to release bonus episodes, which are the original first episodes. I think I
Yeah,
have all
maybe.
those.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. For the next like couple years at least, it's gonna be kind of staggered to figure out what we're gonna do, or if
Yeah.
we're gonna do anything.
This is episode 11, right?
11. We have officially passed 2 digits. This is now. We're in the double digits of episodes now. It's pretty.
Yeah.
It's pretty whack.
That's why I've been doing this a while. Like, we've missed a few weeks, but that's like 12 weeks of this.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think
Quit.
we've.
No, I'm joking.
I don't think we've committed to something any harder in our life.
It's true. Not even the band.
Not even the
Adding
album,
an
man.
album? Nah.
Nah. Podcast,
Most
man.
bands don't even get past the hey, let's make a song phase. They'll
It's
like
true.
quote unquote jam, and then they're like, all right, this Ash, let's never do it again. Here's the thing: we can't jam. None of our music is written by jamming because there's
Yep.
so many different instruments that we use. You can't all
Actually,
do
wait
it
a
with
minute.
just 2 people.
There have been a couple where we made up the melody just by jamming or just by like
That is
playing
true.
something.
It's true. Working
But
project.
but we can't just jam and have a song.
No. I can't
That's
be
not
like,
how it
here, you
works.
play the guitar, I'll sit down on the drums, and I play a beat, and you start playing chorus. That's not how we write.
No.
I started writing a while ago, actually writing, because I found my process. People are constantly telling me, like, hey, how do you write a song? Hey, teach me how to write. And I'm like, okay, look, I would love to tell you how to write, but I can't. No one can tell you how to write. You have
Yeah.
to figure it out yourself. By usually coming up with a title first, and that gives me the mood and the idea and the genre, and so that's what I do. And not a lot of people do that, actually. They don't go, oh, title first. That usually comes last.
Yeah. And you can kind of tell which ones I wrote that I didn't make the title first and which ones Peyton wrote and he did make the title first because
My titles are whack.
your titles are whack. They're pretty clever sometimes. Mine are just like word.
Chorus.
Like
Here's the hook.
main word in chorus. Done.
I'm so like Radiohead inspired, like by what they do. They do stuff that no one else does. Like it's super experimental, not like into a sense where it's like what the heck, not like Residence experimental, but like still musical, but yet not mainstream. But they are mainstream, kind of. I don't. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Their titles are awesome, and so I'm always like, "What's a weird title?" Oh, I got it. Blah 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 blah. No, we've got songs on this next album that like the titles don't fit at all, but that's what I love about them. They just like stick out like a sore thumb.
Yep. Yep. I know exactly which one you're talking about already.
Even on like disc one, like the last 2 songs, you're like, "That's not how you spell that."
Yep. Yep.
Like it's art. Shut up.
Shh. Stop
It's
judging our art. Pulse.
art. Shut up. When people criticize bands for doing something, they're like, why did they make this choice? I'm like, it's their art. So, like, I will judge bands, but not to the point where I'm like, they should have done this. This is stupid. I'm like, this is their decision. This is what they thought was best. I respect that. I
See,
think
there's
that this would have sounded better, in my opinion, but it's their art, not mine.
yeah. I mean, for the most part, I'm kind of the same way. But there are
There are
some
some
songs
songs.
where
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, they could have boosted the vocals a little bit. I can't even hear what they're saying.
What about Spock's music? I'm sorry, Spock, if you're not listening.
If you're not listening. Yeah, yeah. No, rhythm, not my jam, man, not my jam.
Uh,
Uh,
yeah, so
yeah,
there's
it's
a
a
lot
little
of
bit.
art. Like even I love recently, Ghost, right?
Yep.
I like Ghost. I like their music. It's very interesting. It's like it's Swedish metal. That's what I like to call it, or soft metal if you're being broad. And so I like that. It's really catchy. His vocals are great. Like the organ in it is fantastic. People are like, but they're satanic. They're so obviously satanic. I'm like, They themselves are not satanic. It's their art. That's what they're showing. They're not like, yes, we believe in the devil. The devil is God. There's music about it. It's their art. They're playing off of the whole stereotype that metal is satanic. All metal is satanic. Like, I'm gonna prove to you that it's not by making it satanic.
Yeah, it's like double satire almost.
Yeah, it's
I don't
their
know.
art. They're making fun of it at the same time.
Yeah,
It makes sense, but it's great. I love it so much.
yeah, that's that's kind of the thing that people initially find out about Ghost is that it's like a metal band that's not really a metal band.
Yeah.
Like
They
they're
like look at them, they look at the title and they're like, "Oh, they're heavy metal. They must be like," and then they're like, "Wow, this is really poppy."
yeah, yeah. Actually, though,
Like looking at it first glance, a lot of people judge them instantly, like, "Oh, they're satanic." Shun them. And then there are some people who are Christians, like I find them on YouTube and I watch their reactions, and they're like, "I've heard they're satanic," and they listen to them, they dig deeper, and they're like, "No, they're not satanic."
yep.
Even like Satanism, you don't believe in you don't most Satanists don't believe in Satan. They believe it's like a harmony kind of thing. I don't understand all of it, but they're not like praise the devil. That's not what Satanists do. But
Uh, I mean, somewhat. There's definitely people that do that.
oh yeah, there definitely
Um,
is.
uh, but yeah, let's not get into that right
Religion,
now.
religion is interesting. Like
Oh, it
it's
definitely
actually
is.
really interesting,
It
especially
definitely is.
different
But
religions.
I'm, I don't feel like I'm informed enough about that specific religion to
Dude,
make educated guesses about it. But I guess that's what
I
a
am
podcast is. So
yeah, I am well informed enough to talk about Scientology.
that's true. I'm
I've
actually
seen
fairly. I'm
like
actually
4 documentaries
fairly
about it.
4 documentaries.
Seen a lot, and I've watched these on my own time. Like I did a project about it. I'm like, well, that's really interesting, and so I looked into it more. And I'm not like I'm a Scientologist now. I don't remotely believe what they believe, but it's oh interesting what they believe.
Yeah, I actually did quite a bit of research on Islam. Not because I wanted to join it,
Oh
but
yeah,
because I
I
was
did
really
that too. I
interested in it.
did
I was
Nation
like,
of Islam.
I was like, this is really weird. It's like somewhat Christian, but not. And so I looked
Yeah,
into it more. I read a book about, or I read a book called "Seeking Allah, Finding Jesus." It's like a Muslim that is looking for like getting closer to Allah or like finding. He's like a really devout Muslim, but then he has a friend in college who convinces him to look at the facts a little bit more, and then eventually he converts to Christianity, and it's pretty interesting. I don't know. He talks a lot about Islam. I thought it was really cool.
there's a movie called Malcolm X. It's about Malcolm X. Shock.
Oh,
Um,
gee, I never would have
and
guessed.
watching it, it's about him and his conversion to Nation of Islam because Islam and the Nation of Islam are two different things. Nation of Islam is what some African American people believed back in like the civil rights movement of like Martin Luther King Jr. and stuff because they were always taught by white people that Jesus was white, that God was white, the disciples were white. And then once they looked at the facts, they're like, no, they weren't. They weren't
Yeah,
white. They lived
yeah,
in Israel. They weren't white. And so their own religion kind of came about. And I was watching the movie and I'm like, this actually makes a lot of sense for them to believe this because they've been lied to their whole life. They've been told Jesus is white, God is white. And then they're like, that's not true. This is true. And I'm like, this makes sense. And I looked into it more. I'm like, this is very interesting. The movie is 3.5 hours long. It took me like 3 weeks to watch that movie.
oh, jeez, yeah, yeah.
Long movie.
Very long movie. Um, oh, you know what movie I watched parts of, and then I want to watch the whole thing. Is Wonder. Um,
I've watched it a couple times. It's really good.
it was very good. I only saw parts of it because we had some friends over, and they were, or the little girls, and they were watching Wonder, and so I jumped in like halfway through, and I saw parts of it. I would walk in and out. I want to sit down and watch the whole thing someday because it was really good.
It's really good. The book is really good too.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
read that book in 5th grade, and then the movie came out a couple years after, and I was like, oh, and I watched the movie. I'm like, that's really good.
Yeah. They make the bully and his family very convincingly uh punchable. Like
Yeah.
I yeah. When with the scene with the bully's parents, Julian's parents, I was definitely ready to punch them. I was like, this
hmm
is not okay, but you know.
It was not appropriate behavior. And then Julian was like super sorry for what he did. Like you could tell, like
Oh
I
yeah.
made a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
No, it's a very compelling movie. If you haven't seen it yet, go watch it.
you should go watch it. It's really great. Recommend it. It's a family movie, I'd say. I think you could watch it with your family.
Yeah, yeah. You can watch it with your family.
It's really good.
Definitely.
Watched a
Um
movie last night that is
just
not family friendly. We can talk about it after you say what you were gonna say.
um I'd say watch it with your family, but don't be surprised if your parents start crying towards the end. Uh
Don't be surprised if you start crying towards the end.
yeah, I was getting kind of choked up at one point. I was like, this is very compelling.
I
Um,
almost cried during the last episode of Some Good News.
oh, he made the last episode.
Well,
Uh,
like the previous episode. The
oh,
last
okay,
episode comes out on Sunday.
the very last episode.
He's saying like we're gonna take a break after this episode, and I'm like, I totally
Uh,
get you. Street, 8 straight weeks of this is kind of, a lot.
yeah,
So
yeah. Posting 8 videos like that a week is bound to, no, not 8 a week. Eight,
I was like, wait a minute. Are
one
you working
each
eight
week.
days a week again, Jer?
28 days a month. 28 hours a
Days a
day. That's what
week.
it. That was it.
8 hours a day. That's classic.
Oh gosh, yeah. From experience of working on YouTube videos, it's a pain to even post one video a week, especially when you have schoolwork that you have to be doing. Sometimes it'll
Oh yeah.
take
Oh
me
yeah.
all of Friday evening and most of of Saturday to actually film the video, edit it, and post it.
Yeah.
It's
That's why
like
like
12 hours.
sketch comedy is a gold mine on YouTube. There's so many sketch
Yeah.
comedians, but, like they're so short, and most of them are actually funny. Like you got Gus Johnson and
Oh
Eddie
yeah.
Burback and stuff like that. They're all really short clips, like 2 minutes at the most. They're hilarious.
Yeah. I I really can't wait until I get a new computer and then I can actually start working on real videos again because I enjoyed it
Same.
so
I
much.
I love editing, but my computer's so slow. Editing is so brutal.
Yeah, same
It's
actually.
iMovie. It's iMovie too. So
See, trying to find something that I can film consistently is really annoying. And then trying
Mhm.
to edit on top of that with this stinking potato is just really it's horrible.
I get-
I have to deal with multiple crashes a project. It's so frustrating.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, yeah,
Watched this movie last night. Jake
yeah.
Gyllenhaal movie. Jake Gyllenhaal's my favorite actor,
Mhm.
and it was suggested to me. I had no idea what it was about. It's called Nightcrawler,
Oh
and
no. Oh
and
no.
I finished that movie. And I could not believe how much I hated Jake Gyllenhaal's character.
Oh, I've heard really bad things about Nightcrawler or like
Won't spoil
how.
it. It's a fantastic movie. It's so good.
No, I'm sure it is, but
His
I've heard that it's
character
really hard to finish.
so hateable. Like yeah, like even my older brother was like, I almost turned this movie off because I hated his character so much.
Oof.
Such a terrible person. You think in the beginning, oh, he's made some wrong choices, but he's a nice guy. Then it progresses, and you're like, oh my gosh, he's the worst person in the world.
Yep. Yep. I've
Recommend
I've
it. It's
heard that.
not a family movie at all, but if you
Yeah,
think you
don't.
can handle it, it's not even like super bad. There's some blood and language, but it's mainly like, can you handle a terrible person for 2 hours? Like, not terrible as in like, I'm going to say mean things to everybody. Horrible person.
Oh, I'm sure. Like killer level bad, that sort of
Not
thing.
even like, not a serial killer. He
No,
doesn't
I don't know anything
directly
about the
murder
movie.
people. But he causes people's deaths, basically, because he films for the news. So he causes their deaths to get something to film to get money.
Okay,
Has
yeah.
has
Yeah.
no soul, basically.
Yeah, that sounds like it's gonna be torture to watch for 2 hours.
Oh, it was so good, but I'm like, I can't stand this guy. I love Jake
Mm.
Gyllenhaal so much. I'm sure he's such a nice guy. Like, I can't hated his character so much. You should watch it. Great,
Yeah, I'll look it up eventually. I've got a
great.
lot of stuff on my plate right now, so I probably won't be able to watch it. But
Yeah.
I'll figure it out eventually.
Gyllenhaal is easily my favorite actor. He can just do so much, and he's just so good at it.
Yeah, dude. Okay. This just popped in my news feed, and I have to talk about this sort of topic. So it says a guy got hit by lightning and becomes a concert pianist. Um, so have you heard about some of these like occasions of people hitting themselves in the head or like getting really hard or hurt or something, and then just unlocking some sort of hidden skill in their brain, and then they become just like a virtuoso or something?
Not in real life.
No, in real life.
Easy. I've never heard of it in real
So
life. Like people who are like, I can do this now. And you can.
yeah, no, it's definitely something that you would see in movies, and so it sounds fake. But there's this guy. I don't remember exactly how this works, but he was partying in a bar, and he was like a jock type character in high school, and he fell and hit his head really hard. And then when he woke up, he started seeing like everything in terms of like geometric shapes or something like that. I don't know exactly how it works, but um he started like seeing everything in fractals, but he didn't know that they were like fractals or something like that until a physicist saw him drawing the images he was seeing on a paper, and he went, "Oh, are you a physicist?" And he goes, "No, I don't know what this is. I legitimately just hit my head, and now I'm seeing everything in terms of this." And he's like, "This is really high level math. This is like calculus level math that you're doing." Turns out that he had started doing like integrals, which I know you probably don't know what that is, but he started doing like integrals and derivatives and stuff. Um,
No, they're not fun.
no, they're not fun. But he started like doing extremely high level math, even though he had no idea. Like he hadn't really even studied that in school, but he
Mhm.
understood these concepts just like viewing the world around him. It was crazy.
I've done that, but not by hitting my head. I just kind of grow up and you see the world differently. Like that's just life.
Well, yeah, but
Changing how you see things like physically is different.
this is like you fall over, hit your head, wake up, and then suddenly the way you perceive the world is like completely changed.
Suddenly, everyone isn't a person. They're all giraffes with really short necks and walk on their hind legs.
Not that sort of perception, but
That's
okay.
what happened to me. I was locked in the bathroom for an hour.
Apparently, there have also been people though who like fall and hit their heads really hard, and then they wake up and they're able to like pick up instruments really quickly, or they're like really good at music.
That's just
Um, and so it's just like they fall, hit their heads, and then suddenly they unlock some sort of secret superpower or something.
it. I can play guitar. That was so sad.
I can play guitar. Ding.
That was like one long breath.
uh, yeah.
Guess that means we've come to the end.
Wait, let's see. We started at 7:30. It is 8:24. Yeah, I think we're pretty much done now. Um. Well, thank you, dudes and women, for checking in with FIRP. FIRP, of course, stands for.
Fragments, intercepting, reflections, perpendicular.
All right, there you go. Our
Welcome
German
for that, nobody.
random German word of the week, because I don't know why I'm still doing this, is Staubsaugen, to vacuum, which you should all do in your houses right now, because I know you're sitting in some messy room and you need to pick everything up. I'm talking to myself just as much as I'm talking to everybody else. Clean your room and vacuum it,
Yes.
please. That was our public service announcement. And we will see you next week.
I guess so. I don't know.
I mean, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out.
All right. See you.